Hi, this is Wei here, and this is probably the final video I'm gonna make before early access starts on Saturday morning for me, probably Friday evening for you, Friday afternoon for you. I don't know. I'm gonna preface this by saying that POE 2 has been a game that I've been looking forward to for a very long time, and this has been since POE 1, right? When I was playing POE 1 beta, I remember one of the conversations, not really conversations, but one of the inputs I gave about the game, which made me give up on POE 1, by the way. I actually quit POE 1 for about a good portion of its development. Because when I restarted POE, it was already, what, Delirium 3.0 or something. Um, and from like, was it open beta? Open beta till then, I actually stopped playing POE. Mostly stopped playing POE. One of the main complaints I had about the game was I really didn't like the idea of moving towards just a single skill use being like all there is to the game. And secondly, I kind of really didn't like the idea of uh, what's the term for it? How it was scaling, like how scaling was being done in POE. It really didn't sit right by me. Um, and the only reason why I went back into POE 1 at Delirium was because at some point the game got had so much variety to it. You could pretty much decide how you want to go about playing the game. All right, like league start wise. Uh, and I've always made it a point to play POE in search for trying to solve puzzles in the game with different ways, different solutions than everyone else is has attempted, right? And looking for what I call optimal price points. I almost always never try to go for builds that are just too expensive. I mean, I've tried them once or twice, but it just never sits right by me. I always try to find builds that are around a certain budget, and then optimize it around that certain budget. And once I'm done, I move on to something else. So I play something else. So POE 2 has kind of been like something I've been looking forward to for a very long time. I play a lot of Dark Souls too. I played like my favorite game is actually Bloodborne. For has been for a very long time, and probably will still be might still be my favorite game for a very long time. So I think POE has moved into the right direction. I think this is what it should have been in POE 1, where every decision you make is intentional, and every decision you make has consequences, right? So stuff like figuring out this kind of skills you want to use has a cost. Everything has an opportunity cost, and everything has uh, there's an optimal amount of resources you pour into something, and then you don't go beyond that. And this optimal point is going to be different for different builds, because every build is going to focus on different things. I think that's going to be lacking PoE 2 at the moment, but I think they're starting off on the right foot. So I'm gonna for me, like, I'm gonna tell you exactly how I'm gonna start PoE 2. All right. I did say I'm gonna play Chaila Monk. I think that's generally like the kind of playstyle I'm looking forward to. High mobility, getting out of trouble, getting to entering fights and exiting fights, as well as like stacking stuff. So like combo points, power charges, spending them, gating them. It's going to be a whole lot of fun figuring out how to go about doing this optimally, and then also coming up with a build that can do it optimally, right? And I'm not going. This is not my objective. I don't feel like I am pressured to hit pinnacles and like week one kind of thing. I don't think that's the kind of player I am. I really just want to go in and find things that I find interesting and cool, and then just play around it. It's like a sandbox. We're back to the original of PoE. When we played. Okay, this is the thing. Is PoE 1, when we were playing beta, a lot of it was just figuring stuff out. Right? It wasn't like oh, this is the best build. This is the most optimal way to play. It was just I think I was playing double strike duelist or some shit with a 5-link shield, if I can recall, and going back to it again for PoE 2 is going to be a hell of fun. And for me, my priority at least that is definitely Monk. But what I wanted to see is like, what's the optimal way to generate power charges? What's the optimal way to spend it? Do I what like do I have a setup where I spend one power charge, or do I have a setup where I spend like 6 or 7 power charges? That kind of thing. That's the kind of questions I like to ask myself when I play the game, and solve it in the game itself. Like, okay, these are the conditions why I would do this, and these are the conditions why I would do that. And I think PoE 1 has kind of not had that for a long time. It's just, there's just too much power in the game. Well, we did have that in Ruthless, okay? So when we played Ruthless, kind of like that. Although most of us that did push the endgame were pretty much just playing overpowered mechanics. But yeah, PoE 2 will be back to that. A lot of questions, right? You're gonna ask a lot of questions, and you're gonna be solving a lot of problems in different ways. I think that's the fun part about it. And unfortunately, like, with how PoE 1 has been like, every streamer and content creator is trying to solve the game before it comes out. And I think GG has done a really good job of keeping a lot of things under the surface. Like, we don't actually know how the game will play like, right? We can guess, but there's so many things missing from it. We don't know what are the full set of uniques available for us. We don't know all the possible roles and items available for us. We can only hypothesize. And because people are just hypothesizing at the moment, it's really tough to actually say that this is going to be strong or this is going to be weak. There are a few like clearly broken stuff. Like, you know, if you watch Rutu, he comes off like, he can spot all the broken stuff like right off the bat, and like, he's already highlighted 2 or 3 things I think are just nuts. But if you look aside that, right, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to like come up with all sorts of new ways to play the game that you wouldn't have been able to in PoE 1. I think the only downside to PoE 2 so far is content wise, when it comes to the stuff you want to optimize your character around, we don't have that diversity yet, right? So like in PoE 1, you could just play a character that is really tanky, is really fast, and doesn't do any damage at all, and just play Heist, right? You could do stuff that has infinite damage, has infinite mobility, but 0 tankiness, and go Sanctum, right? And then you can go like a character that is just really tanky, super tanky, does good clear, decent damage, but not like insane damage, and go like ultimatums or something. Or you can go stuff that has insane clear, insane mobility, you know, with decent survivability. They can do maps like fast map, like high density maps and stuff, and then like high damage stuff to do bosses. I think like you don't have that diversity of content for PoE 2 at the moment. So I think that's the only thing that I see to be an issue, because at the end game, at the true end game for PoE 2 at the moment, maybe like you'll see like a clear 5 or 6 winners, or you know, the meta will settle. People say, okay, these are the 5-6 strongest builds that can tackle all the content, all the end game content. And it's like, you know, it's a bit unfortunate, right? Like, you don't have the variety of saying, okay, you know, I want to focus, like, I have the best build for Trial Sacrifice, for example. I'm not sure we'll have that, right? Maybe we will, I'm not sure. I don't think the variety of content is there at the moment. So that's the only thing I feel like will take time. You know, the early access is just the beginning of the whole thing. And once GG adds in more content, and as long as they keep to this philosophy, right, of not giving players too much power, but giving them options, right, I think we're in a good place, right? Giving them many ways to solve problems, but without giving like very clear, strong ways of solving problems. I think that is like what PoE 2 is all about, I feel. Anyway, I might be wrong. No, GG could fuck it up and give us too much power in one patch, and they find it hard to backtrack on that. But I think as long as that is their philosophy and they've shown that to be the case, I'm very much happy with how PoE 2 is turning out. Okay, so I've heard some conversation of how PoE 2 is on the scale of PoE 1 to Ruthless, where PoE 2 sits. And the fact of the matter is, PoE 2 is actually like, if you can't, like, okay, let's say 1 is PoE 1 and 10 is PoE 2. Ruthless is like, okay, Ruthless is like a 12 or 13, right? Or if, okay, let's put it a different way. On a scale of 1 is PoE 1 and Ruthless as 10, PoE 2 is kind of like a 7 or 8. Okay, and I'll explain why. In PoE 2, in Ruthless, you didn't have access to a lot of flask charges, because you couldn't gain flask charges while the flasks were active, and flasks were mostly a situational thing. You don't have very good uptime on them unless you were very optimized. You mostly use them to just get out of trouble. You just use, like, so if you had no budget in PoE, in Ruthless, what you do is you just pretty much stack like life flask or mana flask, right? And then what you see in PoE 2 is a very similar concept. They've taken away flask power from the equation. You pretty much have charms, which are just activatables that help you like deal with problems. You deal with, let's say you got frozen, or you got shocked, or you got stunned, or something. Or you're taking like bleeding damage or whatever, and it helps you to remove it or purge it off, right? So yeah, it does help you solve problems, but not permanently, just temporarily, right? And say like a couple other things as well. If you look at how the stat rolls are forming up to be, we don't actually have that much stats. If you look at let's say PoE 1 compared to PoE 2, I think in general, if you have an optimized build for endgame, on average, I think it's like 30 to 50k DPS or something like that. It's not insane. If you look at some of the playthroughs of Pinnacle bosses, characters are hitting for like 10k a hit or something. It's really low, but that's a good thing, because in PoE 1, damage just went up into the billions, right? There were builds that could do a billion damage, and there were builds that could do like hundreds of millions of damage. In fact, you could make a budget character in PoE 1 and do like 15 million damage, or like day 1, day 2, you could hit 10 million damage easy, right? And that's gone. And PoE 2, it's just you're doing low damage. There is going to be a lot less variability between the strongest and the weaker, strong builds and weak builds. And let's not say strongest and weakest. I'm pretty sure you still need to have a build function optimal, like your build has to function properly in order to like do damage. But like a decently functioning build and a fully optimized functioning build, I think, will not have like too much of variability. Like in PoE 1, if your build was completely ass, you did like maybe 2 mil damage or something, while someone was doing like 500, 600 mil with a much better like setup, right? And I don't think you'll have that anymore, like 500, 600 times damage. Maybe you'll do like 20 or 30 times more, but not 500, 600, not 1,000. So yeah, and then we come to survivability. I think a lot of people are not used to it, right? It hasn't occurred to a lot of people yet, especially PoE players, that your survivability is kind of out the window. It used to be you could stack, because you got a lot of percentage life in 3, right? You could get like 5 or 6k or 8k life pretty easily, even on hardcore, right? And still have damage. And if you look at PoE 2 and how it's shaping up, you're not going to get a lot of life from your tree, and a lot of life from your gear is going to be flat, right? So you're not going to get 150% life. So 150% increased life is like 2.5 times life. So I think in PoE 2, you're lucky to have like 5k life. That's my take. I don't think you'll get more than that. And then secondly, after that, not only will it be hard for you to get life, the sources of mitigation that you used to have available in PoE 2, PoE 1 doesn't exist, right? So in PoE 1, you had stuff like max res. And the only class I see so far that can conceivably hit max res is a Gemming Legionnaire. And it does it, like if you look at the total amount of skills, slot sockets available and the total amount of colors available, you could probably max one out, so like 90% fire or something, but you can't like max like all your res to like 90, right? And I think Gemming Legionnaire hits that at the cost of damage, right? You're not going damage on the Ascendancy, you're literally just stacking max res. And then there's like much less ways of solving for physical incoming right now. It's almost like, you know, in PoE 1, the people tell you like armor is like the worst way to solve for physical, because you need so much armor in order to do so, right? Because armor works this way: the higher the hit, the less armor mitigates, and so armor is great for mitigating lots of small little hits for physical, but not for like huge hits for physical. Right now in PoE 2, like, how are you gonna mitigate high physical hits, right? Maybe Cloak of Flames, yeah, but what else? Cloak of Flames and armor, that's all, right? And so I think this changes things by quite a bit. You know, you could almost say like you never know. Rage classes just might be so dominant because like in melee range, stuff just two-shots you. You get swarmed by a bunch of thick mobs with slams, you might just die if you're misplaying. So I don't think people are ready for that yet. And I know like if you play melee, you have to be really confident that your defensive layers will work at least start. then again, let's think about it another way as well. Evasion looks pretty good because evasion now applies to all hits, not just attack hits but spell hits. So evasion, like evasion based setups, actually got a kind of a decent boost. So yeah, I mean that's the reason why I went monk, right? I'm not going monk because leech is amazing or something. That's not my primary concern. I think most of it is like I have access to high ES. I think I'll get about 4k ES pretty easily, like maybe 3k mana 4k ES pretty easily, and I think I'll be able to get maybe about 12k evasion pretty easily. Maybe not 12k, let me think. 8k evasion, and then these two things together are just enough for mitigation for me. And then I have recovery from like leech and flask. I don't think builds on this other tree will get that. So yep. Anyway, I've made a few like a rough idea of how I want to path and what I want to like go for first. I do feel like monk is probably not gonna be not so fun in the first 30 levels is my take, because you just don't have a lot of access to your combinations, your skill combinations. But I think when you hit about 50-60 and have decent amount of itemization on your stuff, like and let's say you spot like decent uniques that work, I think you'll be fine. Maybe I should talk about my league style. I'm not sure. Fuck it. Should I just leave for day one? Like I don't talk about it too much. I just talk about it on day one when the league comes out. Oh, when we have access. I'll give you like a 5-minute brief rundown. So my idea for monk is that the reason why I think monk will be a problem for me early is because a lot of the stun immunity nodes are here, right? Okay, that's the thing too. Most people don't understand that stun is going to be a huge problem in PoE 2, right? In PoE 1, you had a lot of ways to mitigate stun outright or just be immune to it. You had what, Brine King Pantheon? Do you have Brine King Pantheons? I don't think so, right? So stun is going to be a problem. And if you're ES and you don't get... If you're ES and you go CI early without having all the ES stun threshold nodes, you're kind of going to get fucked, right? And if you're a minor matter with like literally no life, you're also going to get fucked. So here's the thing. I think stun will be a problem early, especially for monk, because like, how are you going to deal with it, you know? So a lot of it is just... You have to play in a way that prevents you from getting swamped, and pretty much do hit and run. I might probably go cold spells, cold attacks, I think, rather than lightning early, because most of them seem to have a bit of range to them. So and freeze as well and slows as well is pretty good mitigation ways of dealing with aggressive mobs. So I think the first concern is getting a lot of percentage increased damage as fast as possible here, just so I have the damage for my core skills. I will start pathing. Once I get these, I'll get all the low-hanging fruit nearby, and once I get the low-hanging fruit nearby, I'll start pathing to maybe the staff nodes. We'll see. But eventually at some point, I will say, okay, I have enough points, maybe about 50, 60, maybe level 40, thereabouts. I can actually pivot to CI and Mum, and I will have like the leech node from the first ascendancy. And then I will just start going defensive nodes and letting the skills just do damage, like carry me through, rather than like having damage on passive tree. I will probably then be tankier than the average character, but do slightly less damage. I don't know how you want to explain, how you want to describe it, but yeah. Then I think at the very late game, I'll start going to like power charge generation and dumping rotations. Yeah. So I think that's my plan for now. I don't think I really want to play anything else. The other ascendancy I did consider quite a bit was Deadeye, even though I did talk about Gemming Legion in the first video quite a bit. I do like Deadeye quite a bit, mostly because I like the Tailwind bonus. I like the idea of hit and run, even though for me, like, I've never really enjoyed that kind of playstyle in PoE. But yeah, I did consider it. I still ended up deciding like to go monk anyway. Alright, hope you enjoyed this video. See you guys on 6th of December, and I'm out. Peace. Alright, okay, 6th of December I'll also do this. I usually do this every league, so day one, I'll do a status update. Hopefully there's some POB to give you, because otherwise you'll be just looking at, like, you'll just be following the video, which I think is a pain in the ass. So if there's POB available, hopefully day one I'll have a POB for you. I'll have a video for you and a POB for you. Day two I'll do that as well. I'll update it on day two. And then yeah, I'll do that all the way to week one. Also I'll do a daily update until week one. I might give like daily updates in the week two if, for example, the progression seems to be like really slow, right? So there's a lot to talk about. Yeah. Here's my focus on priorities when it comes to day one to day three, is to start seeing the uniques that come into hopefully there is a trade economy, okay? Hopefully we have a trade surge. What I'm going to look for is I'm going to look at all the low-hanging fruit, the cheap uniques that drop, because I'm pretty sure we don't have all of them. We don't have the information for all of them. And once I start looking at them, I'll probably be able to start figuring out stuff that is kind of either broken or it's like really good value for money. And then I'll buy those and then I'll just use them. And I'll let you guys know. Day one or day three, day one, day three, day four, day five. Yeah, specifically for Monk, alright? Specifically for Tubular Monk. And then we'll see where it takes us. We'll see what content we can do well. We'll see where that takes us. And then hopefully by about week 2 or week 3, if the Cellular Monk is like great and I have a fully optimized it, or not fully optimized, I brought it to a point where I don't think I can get like a lot of get it better with a lot more currency or progress, then I might start thinking of doing a second build as well. We'll see. Alright, see you guys. Really excited for December 6th. You know, be a bit more conservative. My guess is that it's quite likely that servers won't be working well in the first couple hours of launch. So, you know, I'm almost tempted to just say I'll sleep in, and then because, you know, the early access for me starts at 3 a.m. in the morning. You know, it's pretty shit. But I always tell myself I'll try to sleep in. I've been trying to do this the past few leagues. I'll tell myself I'll sleep in, and then I'll start like 8 or 9 in the morning or something. But almost always, my body just wakes up at 2 or 3 in the morning, or I just can't sleep, and then I'll just play at 3 in the morning or something. I'll just queue with everyone else. But you know, hopefully, I do manage to sleep all the way through the 8 or 9, and then you know, all the server issues will be done by then and solved by then, and I'll be able to like play uninterrupted for like, you know, the day. Yeah. Oh, as long as my wife will let me. She's behind me right now. Alright, see you guys. I'm out. Bye.